Alright, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying our praise to Yahweh, Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. As you can see, the title of this video is Russians Push Deeper into Mariupol as Locals Plead for Help. So I'm going to go ahead and play the clip and add some precepts.
A city under siege as Russian forces intensify their attacks. What's left of neighborhoods in Mariupol are shattered homes and buildings. Across the port city, scattered bodies lay out on the street. Scenes of the worst war can do.
I got a precept for that. Let's see. Damn. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 32. Verse 39. It says, "See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand." Right, man. It's just the Lord that kill people and bring it back to life. Slakia. It's the Lord that wounds people. That's why a lot of people over there just getting shot and got all these wounds and just landed in the hospital. You know, and it's the Lord that heal people. That's why these people going through what they're going through, because it's the Lord doing it. And, you know, the media have it to where they say, lift up prayers and so that everybody make it out and all this extra stuff. But in actuality, the Lord don't care nothing about no Ukrainians, man. The Lord only care about Israelites, the blacks, Latins, Native Americans. So for the violence that was done against Israel, these other nations are going to have to pay and suffer for it. Slide it. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 3. It says, "For thus said the Lord concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers and that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. And they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth." And as you can see, Ukraine is a prime example of what's eventually going to come to America, man. Same thing as with Mexico and these other places that these wars are taking place right now. And where it say they shall not be limited. Limit means to cry for. It's gonna be so much hell and chaos going on that you ain't gonna have time to cry. You're gonna be trying to get out of Dodge, man. So
Cars now line the streets as people try to flee. Checkpoints make sure only civilians leave. I got out of the city's central district with bombings and destruction. We lost our house, so now we're leaving with our children. We're still in shock and fearful.
and that's a prime example and what's in the scriptures, man. This stuff ain't happening for no reason. The Lord got this happening because eventually it's gonna come to America, man. See, you got Israelites that are over in the Ukraine that's getting caught up and getting killed with this because Israel is as the sand of the sea and are mingled amongst all the nations, So, but what's going on with them eventually gonna come to the USA, you know. And the Lord had these prophecies happening to warn Israel before it comes. So you blessed if you over here getting the warning, and blessed if you taking heed to the warning. How this is how we have the elect. But the word has been out and Israel been getting warned for quite some time. And since Israel is in all of these different countries and nations, the Lord made sure he got the word to him. And now you see what's happening. All right, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Verse 17, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, man. So these checkpoints is what that scripture represent, man. These checkpoints are examples of what's going to eventually come to America also, man. But as you can see, this is prophecy happening. It's just not for America. This is for the whole world, man. But only for the Israelites. This is only for the Israelites to prepare themselves, man. Like during the deliverance of Egypt, the signs and the prophecies that happened, So I'm going to play this clip.
Russian forces charged into the port city, a place where weeks of shelling had kept about 400,000 people hostage. Local authorities say Moscow's attacks have cut electricity supplies, heating, and water. Russia denies it's targeting civilians.
Right, and that's part of Esau's propaganda that the U.S. has been using heavy on all these other news streams because they got to paint. When you study the world wars, I forgot the specific segments, but the nations they use, especially the USA, they need to keep the morale and get people to enlist and the armies to fight these conflicts or whatever the case may be, these theater wars. So they push out a lot of propaganda via your news, TVs, radio stations, etc. To either get people to fight or believe that another side is the enemy, or whatever the case may be. And as far as Putin goes, the U.S. always been lying on the other nations to further their agenda, which is the New World Order ultimately. But as far as Putin goes, in war, there are mistakes made. There's friendly fire made, whatever the case may be. But if Putin really shooting at these people, or whatever the case may be, that's because one of the main reasons in war that you fire upon the people is if they helping the other side. Sometimes they just be in the way. Whatever the case may be, man. But that's part of the U.S. propaganda, trying to paint Putin as the bad guy when the U.S. goes and takes these nations down, to help further their agenda, ultimately. So you can't believe everything the media says about other nations, especially not the U.S. media, And then now we in a time of war, so the propaganda is more heavier than what it was in the time past, man. The misinformation, the disinformation, all that has been turned up also in the media. And that reason why they cutting Putin, the RT station, out of the media, because they don't want the truth out. See, everybody know that the U.S. media lies about a lot of stuff, so people start to go to alternative channels. Number one person that people was going to was Alex Jones, and then came, then at least then that's when eventually I ran into RT, or the apostles gave it to me. Press TV, Euro News, who else? That's just to name a couple, man. Reuters, Rupley's, which is RT. Those are Russian channels, also, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, man. You gotta be. That's why now the watch got to be even stronger now than before, because all of the lies that's being taught in the media. You have to remember that the reason why Putin went over there from the beginning is because the U.S. is trying to surround Russia. Because they need to bring in this new world order, and they're making nations bow. Gaddafi was one of them. That's why they own Iran so tough. That's why they own, especially Israel. Don't forget about Israel, because they're in the game too. Israel is on, what's the dude? The dude that the Iranians mess with, Hezbollah, I think his name was. Over the case was. But yeah, man. All this, you have to remember these things, because you eventually fall into that circle where you forget that, and then you be like, damn, wait. I remember Russia being the so-called good guy of the shit, so to speak. You got to watch the U.S., because the U.S. is all about deception and deceiving people. But it's all prophecy. The Lord's elect not going to be deceived. So just keep watch.
Yeah, he freed us from education.
But airstrikes have hit civilian infrastructure like the city's school, and recently a theater where people were taking refuge from bombings. Amid those ravaged neighborhoods, survivors say life will never be the same. A makeshift kitchen is all that's left of this woman's home, and some no longer have the energy or will to leave.
Сейчас уже смысл выезжать.
Why leave the city now after what we've been through? We've had difficult days with bombings, hunger and cold weather. As you can see, our neighborhood is destroyed.
As old lives are left behind, some have found shelter in local schools, with another humanitarian crisis unfolding. Katia Lopez-Olayan, Al Jazeera.
Right. So all this is coming to the USA, but the US gonna get it the worst out of all the nations. This second Ezra chapter 8 verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Right, everybody is walking in great pride, man, except the Lord's elect, man. They repenting and they're gonna be forgiven of their sins. But as far as the rest of the world and all the nations, even 2/3 of Israel, the wicked Israelites, they're walking in great pride, man. Meaning they're going against the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shai, man. So With that being said, call all about Shema Shai, double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.